Hello, today I'm at Hardknotts Fort. I'm also going to be showing you some other things in the area, like the Wrynose Pass and the parade ground near the fort, as well as possible roads, and the importance of actually visiting your antiquities. I don't actually have a tripod or a fancy camera, so what you can't see is I'm actually using a Roman fort as a tripod, so good work Roman fort, still useful after nearly 2,000 years. I'm currently at the top of the Hardknotts Pass. Now, the Hardknotts Pass is not for everyone. Personally, I love driving it, but I've got an electric car, which actually makes it a lot easier. Other people have difficulties, so don't visit unless you're very confident on a very wiggly mountain pass. The other thing is that there's a direction that I prefer going in, so I've gone over the direction that I think is safer, which is starting with Wrynose and then Hardknotts, not the other way around. I mean, you can skip one of them or not do either. But this is the way round I would recommend doing it, partly because I think it's safer and partly because I think the views are a lot nicer. So yeah, welcome to my little tour of the Hardknotts landscape, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm currently on the Wrynose Pass, which I believe is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Just look at this natural amphitheatre. If I pan round there, you'll see the flowing water making little waterfalls. There are places further up where you can just basically get out the car and then sit in a pool under a waterfall for a bit if you want. And then I scraped my car in a boulder, but it was totally worth it. This is why I like to go over the Wrynose and Hardknotts passes in this direction, because towards Hardknotts is that way, and you actually get this view of all the amphitheatre and the waterfalls. But if you're going that way, I mean, it's nice, but it's not as extraordinary as going the other way. The road is also much less scary going in this direction, so I'll tell you a bit more about that later. I'm not quite sure where the Roman road is here. I should have looked that up before I went. There's no phone signal here, so I can't check it now. I think it might be the other side of the valley. I've got a feeling that the Roman road is closer to the modern route on Hardknotts than Wrynose, so it might not be here. But there is a little bit at the top where you can see it, and I'll show you that in a bit. Just found this lovely standing stone I didn't know about. There's also a flat one next to it. Lido implies the Roman road is probably up on the hill over there, so it is this side of the valley, but it doesn't quite follow the main road. I think it was down there that has the boulders I scraped my car on, and I maintain it was totally worth it. Just walked up the hill a bit, and I think I'm standing on the Roman road. I think it goes down there somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where. In the other direction, I'm fairly confident it joins this trackway, which has obviously been used more recently than Roman, but I think it's likely to be the Roman route. It then joins the modern road, and then I think it sort of crosses it and goes to the left up that hill, because it sort of flattens on top of the rocks right next to the road. While I was here, I also found this lovely little standing stone. I don't know if it's an actual standing stone or just a stone that happens to be upright, but it's got some lovely lichen and some sort of spiral ridges on it, so I like it. This is the spot near the summit where you can see the two roads next to each other. On the left, obviously, you've got the modern tarmac road, and on the right is the Roman cut-through. I hope I'm in the right spot, because I can't remember for sure where the routes are, but as I'll explain later, we're not actually that sure. I also found someone with a drone, but I haven't spoken to him yet. Here we are on Hardknotts Pass, and you can see Hardknotts Roman Fort. Now, I like to think of it of if Salvador Dali designed a Roman fort, it would look something like that. It's kind of draped over the landscape. There's a flatter section just off to the right, which is believed to be a parade ground. I'm going to go there in a bit, and we're going to see some exciting things there. And I will also tell you some cool things about the fort, but I'd better go because I think I'm parked in a parking space. I'm now on the approach to the bit known as the parade ground, and one thing that always gets my attention is these piles of rocks by the edge. They worked stone. Some of them have definitely got flat edges. That one there. I mean, if it was a parade ground, they're having some buildings on the edge for the troops to get ready in, or for the officers to have their tea breaks. And we come up here, just look how flat that is. Complete contrast to the rest of the landscape, which is lumpy rocks, hence the name Hardknotts. It's all flat here. So let's see if we can find my favourite bit. I think it was round here. Ah, that looks like it over there. So the thing that makes me question whether this actually is a parade ground is there's a couple of holes. Oh, there's one here. Not obvious, but if I put my foot down it, like, that's quite a deep hole actually. There's an even bigger one over here, which makes me start to wonder if it's some sort of collapsed hypercaust. Because the rest of this place is just so flat. Like, maybe it's just the natural ground flattening out. We've got down here some rocks. I so want to excavate this, but I don't have permission to do that. What we got? Move the grass around. There's a lot of sheep poo there. Fortunately, I'm not too squeamish about poo. Dead bit of heather. It's down here. It's damp and muddy. Yeah, that looks a bit yucky. No. Oh, what have we got there? There's a little brown rock there. It's quite flat. It's not perfectly flat. Oh, it's got a very flat surface there. That surface is very flat. It's stained like there's iron, but that might just be what's in the water. So if that's a flat surface, it would actually be quite thick. I'm going to put that back there in case anyone actually gets a chance to excavate this. Right, with the aid of watching my footage back, I have gone back to what I think is the first hole. If not, it's another hole. We like holes here. What's down here? Oh, that's got a deep hole. Like, of course, these could be rabbit holes. Yeah, I think that is a rabbit hole. What's down there? A rock. Yeah, that's kind of round. So hopefully an angry bunny won't come and bite my finger. What has Archaeology Bunny found? Just looking at these red bits, which I don't think matches a natural geology. But as I say, we are next to a known Roman fort, so it's not exactly a major archaeological discovery if I find bits of Roman brick on a Roman site. The reason the holes stand out is that this place is mainly remarkably flat and featureless, but there's just 3 little rocks here. Don't know what they're for. Oh, there's another one there. So unless I spot something new, this is my final stop on the parade ground before I go to the fort itself. There's another big pile of rocks. Like, the other rocks around here, quite solid. Oh, that's one big rock. That's a big rock. That's a fairly big rock. This is lots of small ones. Now, could be natural. There are a couple of bits up there where there's sort of scree slopes where rocks have fallen off, but there's no scree here. It's just a pile. So, my pet theory is this a collapsed tower? It'd be a lovely place for it. I'm just climbing up it now. So, presumably it'd be a lot taller than this if it was still standing. You can see, still lots of these rocks. A lot of them fairly similar size. And it's just got a lovely view over this bit of parade ground. You really can picture someone important being up here just watching the soldiers drilling. And this was also a very funny shape. So on this end, there was a different type of rocks down there. This side, I've forgotten that. rather wobbly camera as I walk over the rocks. This is a completely different type of stone. So these are all some sort of white, and then these are all grey. That really does look like someone's built this from two different types of stone. Anyway, the shape of it, you've got this fairly steep or curved, normal, lumpy bit here, and then you've got this incredibly flat slope down here. And the way it juts out into the parade ground is fairly equal on both sides. So was this some sort of slope that the soldiers walked up, or was it a fairly uniform tower that just fell over in a particular direction? Yeah, I don't know why this little bit's got some exposed stones. Oh, that looks worked. Yeah, very flat face there. Yeah, so what do you think? Just found another one of these patches of boulders on the way back to my car. Like, maybe the whole thing's made of boulders to flatten the place and create a stable base, or maybe there's another building on the side here. This rock here is particularly chunky. On my way back to the car, I just found this stone which looks carved. Don't know how old. There's something there that almost looks like a letter D, and there's I'm not sure what that is, almost like a D on its side. Maybe something there and there as well. Always visit your sites when you see something interesting on LiDAR. If nothing else, you get to see some cool antiquities. One thing I've noticed on the way back to the car is that this wall, which I don't think is the road, is using very similar stones to the rocky patches on the parade ground. Now, that doesn't mean this wall is Roman. It just means it might have been built using Roman stone, which would have been robbed from any buildings in the area, of which there would be quite a few. So it would actually be strange if dried stone walls in this area were not made of Roman stone. Here is some more of that collapsed wall. Definitely looks like just a wall, I'm afraid. I'm not seeing a road here. Look at this! It's a big pile of stones. And they do look a lot like the ones that I found out on the parade ground field. So, you can see the wall of the fort here. I think we're on one of the corners, which is rounded. You can see a line of slate between some of the rows of stones, and that's the original height. Well, I say original. The height of the walls before they were slightly restored, and anything above the slate line has been more recently restored, presumably from this rubble pile. So even without the restoration, those walls are pretty good. Now looking out of one of the gates, and I'm trying to work out where the roads are. I think it goes off that way. And there's another track there up to the parade ground. And although I've got nothing particularly original to say about the inside of the fort, I couldn't really leave without giving you a little view of it. It's quite boggy in here, which means that the fort would have actually had its own water supply in the form of a spring, which is quite useful. I'm going to go over to one of the gates now to tell you something that amuses me. One thing weird about Hardknotts Fort is that it has 4 entrances, which sounds perfectly normal, except this one just goes over a cliff. So what's the point of having an entrance here? Now, I've got 2 theories for this, although it could be both. So the first is that there was some sort of bureaucracy which meant that if your fort was not going to follow the standard design of fort entrances, you had to get permission from someone extremely senior in Rome, and it just wasn't worth the effort, and it was actually less effort to just build a 4th entrance. My other theory is that this place does have a use, and that is that this could be where the soldiers had their lunch. I'm going to do the same. Cheers.